So welcome back to my channel. This is Gamer Dom and this is the AMX M4 45. So why am I looking at this? Well, that's because in the next patch 9.21 there is a new French heavy tank line being introduced to the game, and it will spring from this little beauty, which is tier 7. So currently you have this scenario, so you go from the AMX M4 45 through to, then they all become autoloaders, the AMX 50 100 and so forth onto the AMX 50B. But that won't be the case with the next patch. Let's have a quick look at what happens. So this is what the new tech tree will look like with 9.21. You'll go from the M4 45 either through the existing route, which is the AMX 50 100 and so forth, or you'll go up through this new French heavy tank line, all tanks with pretty reasonable guns, big frontal thick turrets and frontal armour. That's their sort of raison d'etre. Oh, you like that? Went all Frenchy. So you've got the AMX 65 ton, you've got the AMX M4 51 and the M4 54 at tier 10. So if you're interested in the new French heavies, it might be a good idea to start working your way back down this French line. Now I got, as you can see, as far as the tier 8, tier 9 I've got to, and I absolutely hate it. So I'm quite looking forward to pushing down the French heavy tanks that actually are heavy tanks rather than auto-loading heavies, because those auto-loading heavies in my book are an acquired taste. And I actually quite enjoyed this tank when I went through it. I played 90 games in it, averaging 891 damage, 56% win rate. But it's not the best in the book. But let's have a quick look at it in a little bit more detail. So, quite a tough grind on this baby. You start out, well, they're all 90mm, apart from if you change for the 105. You start out with the same gun basically as you have on the ARL and the BDR, which is okay, nothing special, but is alright. It's only 135mm of standard pen, 240 average damage, but the accuracy of the gun is pretty woeful, 0.4 dispersion, an aim time of 2.3. When you get through to the top gun, which is this thing here, oops, I'll move that over, or the alternative is the 105mm, they're considerably better, to be honest, and the top 90mm is far superior in my book. 90mm gives you 6.98 rate of fire, 212 penetration, which is tier 7 is pretty darn good. 259 if you choose to use the 2 key and get APCR, and 45 with HE. Average damage 240. Obviously, with the bigger gun, the bigger caliber, your damage goes up to 303. Oh, that's interesting. That's the first. That doesn't happen very often. So the APCR with the 105mm actually gives you extra damage. That's very interesting. 330. Your penetration, however, drops. It's only 165 and 223. Your rate of fire is still pretty good, 6.25 for a bigger shell. So DPM probably goes up a little bit with 105, but you sacrifice a lot in terms of pen, and the accuracy is worse. So with the top 90mm, the DCA 45, you get 0.36 dispersion, which is not fantastic, but this is a heavy tank, and 2.9 aim time, which is also not fantastic. The grind is a bit awkward. You will need the tracks to unlock pretty much everything else. The base turret is pretty, yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's not that bad actually, the base turret. This is frontally at least identical armor as the top turret has. In fact, it actually has slightly more, tell a lie. So the ARL has extra 10mm of frontal armor, but it sacrifices that for the side and rear armor. So 110, 30, 30, whereas the top turret, which you'll need to unlock to move on, has 170 and 40. Traverse speed is also quicker with the stock turret, but your view range is worse by 30 meters. So yeah, But as I say, currently, and I don't know whether this will change, but currently you need to unlock that top turret to get onto the next tank in the line. And it depends how they run this on the new tech tree. If it comes off the same branch, then again you will need to go through this turret. And it makes sense because this top turret is better armor values, and most of these new French heavies are based around armor. That's what their raison d'etre is, if you like. So let's carry on having a look at this beauty. So in terms of firepower, oh, shine's a bit difficult. There we go. So as I say, I've got the top gun loaded here. I've got basically a new crew. I found some old French, not as in age, older French drivers and gunners and what have you that were just sitting there doing nothing. So a couple of them are quite decent. The commander's off 88% and the driver's on 86%. The rest are pretty much brand new. But even then I'm getting rate of fire of 8.27 rounds per minute, reload time of 7.26. That's with the rammer and vents, of course, as well. So my DPM is 1,984, which is not outstanding, but it's a heavy tank. Gun depression is very good. Minus 10 is very, very good. And aim time now with a gun lane drive gives me 2.47, and dispersion is down to 0.34. So yeah, it's not the best heavy tank you're going to encounter. Certainly not as good as some of the other tier 7s that are out there, but it's a vehicle to get you onto the next one in the tech tree, basically. So hit points 1,350 is okay. Hull armor is very, very weak, even with it angled back as it is, 90 40 40, and turret 170 40. But let's hop over to Tanks GG and see what it looks like in the model there. So here we are in Tanks GG. Let's take a look at what these armor values actually do. So looking straight at the thing, you're talking 125, which is nothing. Lower plate is actually better, 130. The angling is so good. If we manage to put a bit of an angle on it like this, we get 145, 147, something like that, nearly 150. Again, pretty garbage. But the lower plate again is fantastic. Auto ricochet there, 180. So if I did angle that amount, you're putting your side armor into real danger. Only 54.5 millimeters of side armor. Now the tracks are pretty chunky and they will absorb a lot of hits, but really this thing is not blessed with armor, which is kind of ironic given the rest of the tech tree is going to have, with the new patch, lots of frontal armor. And look at that, really flat, only 40.5 degree angling, and giving us 110, 120 there briefly. Yeah, just nothing. A much lower tier tank can pen this thing very, very easily. So side of the turret's not too bad, 70, and that frontal of the turret is, there's a bit of angling here. You're but you know, you're really wishing for miracles if you're going to bounce shots off this thing. It's not really got any armor to talk about. So a mixed bag, really. I think you'd agree. In terms of mobility, it's basically 56 tons, 850 horsepower engine when you've got the top engine on it. Power ratio of 15, which is not bad at all. So it's relatively mobile for a heavy tank. 35 top speed, 12 in reverse, and hull traverse is 25.6 degrees per second. So not too bad. Concealment, well, it's a heavy tank, so forget about that. Spotting range, it's 360 basic, which is nothing special, but it is only a tier 7 tank, so I guess what you expect. And signal range nobody cares about, but is 800. So you've got a tank that sort of has a little bit of armor, has a little bit of a gun, has a little bit of mobility. It's a little bit tank, but it's not too bad. Let's take it out, play a couple of games. Okay, so Malakova, tier 9 game. Really, we can't go up against things like a team 95, so I'm going to play a bit, try and play a little bit campy. I mean, this thing is a support heavy. It's one of those weird things that they've changed the, or they're proposing to change the French tech tree so that they all reflect better the playstyle. But actually, the bulk of this playstyle on this tech tree, I mean, currently they're all auto-loaders when you get higher, so you kind of, you know, don't think there's much point firing him. Ah, see, that shell went whizzing. Can't pin him. Yeah, I mean, they're all auto-loaders, the higher tier ones. Ah, he stopped. So this one is not an auto-loader, obviously. You stand still when I'm firing at you. But it's weird because all the others obviously are autoloaders, which are much more supporty in their style. That's better. But the new proposed tech tree, they are proper heavies. So you kind of, you got one play style, don't have Sixth Sense obviously because this is a new crew, a newish crew. I have no armour. Come on, give me something. Right, at least we got rid of their arty. Or team, I mean, not me. He's down. Ow. Yeah, sadly, lack of armour means you can't really be aggressive in this tank. It is a support tank. See if we can get some shots on that KV3. Oh, it's disappeared just as we. want to help it, but I can't really get off that. Reload's pretty slow on this as well, which doesn't help. Spotted again by up on the hill. She blocked a shot there. A lot of tanks still up on that hill. Oh. Did hit him. Cool. Yeah, he's looking straight at me. Okay, time to move. He's been a bit predictable by sitting there. That's true. Where is the T-95? He's obviously out there somewhere because he's got a kill. That was one of our teammates just said, where's the T-95? And it's like, yeah, where the hell is he? There he is again. He's actually out there somewhere because that's his second kill. Shit, they got T8. I can't even pen him. Oh shit. I blocked. Oh, RNG, we love you. I blocked a T-28 shot with my arse. Reverse side scraping. I blocked his shot. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy. But it's been a good game, so I'm going to complain. Tough when you got no sixth sense to play that support role. But I have to in this thing because although it's a heavy, it's a heavy in name, it's not really like the ones that are coming later in the tech tree, unless you go down the auto loader route. As a standard battle tank, which they sort of seem to be designed to be, it's not that. Come on, give me a shot. One more kill would be nice. This AMX is going to go in for it. There we go. Somebody else got a kill. Still, good fun. Good fun. So yeah, definitely support role. Definitely support role. It's the way to play it. Bottom tier there, I still did pretty well. Got a second class out of that. Far for effect. 2,232 damage, 1 kill, 804 base XP. 25 shots, hit with 10, penned with 9. Took 6 shots, 4 of which penned, 2 miraculously bounced. 34,500 credits, 20,000 profit, 2,400 with the ×2 XP. So yeah, support. It's not. It's really designed to get you into the autoloader mentality, not so much into the French upcoming heavies. But let's play another one. Okay, so this time we are top tier, one of the chosen 3, up on the D-Day map. In some ways this is harder because the expectation is as top tier that you should go and brawl it. But if you go and brawl it, you're going to die. So I'm going to head over to the right hand side. Now it's got some mobility, this thing, which is one of its strengths. So if you read up on this in the wiki, they say that it kind of makes up for its lack of armor with mobility. It's one of those kind of heavies. Oh, look, idiots going down the beach. Good job. So you want to play it a bit like a medium rather than a pure heavy. As you saw in the last game, you can block a few shots, but really it's more luck than judgment, to be honest. Because it just doesn't have the armor. Oh, what is going on here? Everything's gone on the beach. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of our team. What the hell is going on? Right, so it looks like I want to go back that way. Let's see if we can help this guy out, but he's going to get killed otherwise. Much as he kind of deserves it. Oh, he's died. He's done it. Wow. Do not understand the fascination. Go to the beach. Oh, 2 artilleries. We've got to be really careful. Block some shots there. Got some more shots. Nice artillery, thank you. despite the fact there are a load of idiots going for the beach, they actually seem to have won it. Not sure how, but they have. I've had that line there for a minute. Knew that was going to happen eventually. The artillery would have to wake up. Amazed how many times I'm blocking shots here. Got him. Aim. Oh, he's down. That's it. Game over. Oh my goodness me. Well, if it's dumb and it works, I guess. Is it still dumb? Yeah, it was. I don't know how the enemy team lost that one. Half our friggin' team went to the beach and we still won. Easily. Oh well. Third class this time. Finished, it's about fourth on the team, 1,173 damage, 684 base XP. Fired 8 shots, hit with 7 pen with 5. Took 9 hits. Amazingly, the 7 of them bounced. That's extraordinary. Mainly from the Tiger P and the AT. The AT must have been not using a top gun, because I can't believe he didn't pen me. So I suppose because I was above him, the angling would have made it harder to pen. Did 1,114 assistance damage, which is nice. 30,000 credits, 25.5 profit because I didn't have to fire any skill rounds at all, and 1,028 base actual XP. So there you go. There's the AMX M4 45. Good tank? Nah, not really. It's a fairly weak tier 7 heavy tank, but if you play it more like a medium, you're probably not going to have too bad a time in it. It's got a bit more mobility than most heavies, but a lot less armor than most heavies. Gun's okay, takes a little while to aim in, but actually has a bit of poke. Lots of options on guns. If you would rather play with a higher alpha gun, there is that option there, of course. So all in all, not a bad little tank. And of course, if you're going to head down the new French heavy tank line, which is coming out in 9.21, you're going to have to go back and play this thing again, or free XP through it. So get used to it. So support seems to be the golden rule with this thing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found it useful. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. In the meantime, enjoy your games, have fun, try not to take it too seriously. This is Gamerdom signing out.